On a bright California afternoon, the Crestgate Mall stood tall and busy, a modern palace of capitalism where luxury brands, gourmet coffee, and happy families met under the same roof. Amid the flow of shoppers walked Amara Villanueva, a soft-spoken yet confident Filipina woman who had just arrived in the U.S. to visit her older brother after nearly a decade. Dressed in a hoodie, jeans, and sneakers, she looked like any ordinary visitor, but little did the people around her know she was the younger sister of the mall's owner, a billionaire real estate magnate who had bought the mall quietly during the pandemic. Amara had always been curious about Rico's American success, but she never cared for status. She came without announcement, choosing to blend in, observe, and maybe even enjoy a pretzel while admiring her brother's achievement. But her simple walk through the mall's front entrance triggered a chain of events that would uncover something far uglier than she expected. It started with a stare, a sharp look from Officer Dennis Parker, the mall's veteran security guard, who made a snap judgment the moment he laid eyes on her. Without warning or explanation, he blocked her path with his arm and uttered the words that would spark a social firestorm. "Excuse me, ma'am, you can't be here." Amara, caught off guard, tried to remain calm as she explained she was just visiting the mall. But Parker wasn't interested in listening. His tone grew harsher, accusing her of loitering, of possibly casing the area. "We've had problems around here," he muttered under his breath, tightening his grip on his belt like he expected her to run. "I'm going to need you to leave the premises." Amara blinked in disbelief. "What exactly did I do wrong?" she asked, her voice steady but firm. He didn't answer. Instead, he radioed in backup, like she was a threat. Around them, people began to take notice. A teenage girl whispered to her mom, "She didn't even do anything." A man began recording with his phone. Amara, unwilling to be humiliated, stood her ground and calmly said, "You're making a mistake. I know the man who owns this mall." Parker scoffed. "Lady, if I had a dime for every time someone said that." He reached for her arm, trying to usher her toward the exit. That was when the elevator door behind them opened with a soft chime and the entire atmosphere shifted. Rico Villanueva stepped out, tall, commanding, and sharply dressed, instantly recognizable to those who had seen his rare public appearances. His expression turned to steel as he saw his little sister being manhandled by a guard in the mall he owned. Silence fell over the crowd as Rico walked toward them, his footsteps echoing against the marble floors. Parker immediately adjusted his posture, sensing he had done something wrong but still unaware of just how badly he had messed up. "Is there a problem here?" Rico asked, voice calm but dangerous. Parker gestured to Amara, saying, "This woman was loitering. I was removing her from the property." Rico's jaw clenched. "That woman is my sister," he said, and the air left the room. Parker's face turned ghostly pale. I didn't know," he stammered. Rico turned to his sister, gently taking her hand. "Are you okay?" Amara nodded, though her pride was clearly wounded. The onlookers were frozen. A few people whispered, some began clapping. Others started uploading the video clips already flooding their phones. Rico looked back at Parker. "No, you didn't know. Because you didn't ask. You didn't speak. You judged her based on her skin and her clothes. You assumed she didn't belong here. But she belongs more than anyone else in this building." Within hours, the video went viral across social media, with the hashtag number #SheBelongsHere trending nationally. Interviews flooded in. News anchors debated racial profiling in private security. And Amara, who had tried to keep a low profile, was now the face of a movement she never meant to lead. In the weeks that followed, everything changed. Rico publicly announced a full review of Crestgate's hiring and training practices. Dennis Parker was suspended and required to complete a series of anti-bias training sessions before any discussion of reinstatement. Meanwhile, Amara, initially reluctant to speak, began doing interviews, not to seek fame, but to spread awareness. "This wasn't about me," she said on national television. "This was about every person who's ever been told they don't belong." Rico went one step further, renaming the mall's central area Amara Square and installing a plaque that read, "Don't assume, ask, learn. Respect visitors." Now came not just to shop, but to take selfies under that quote, to show support, to remember that moment. And Parker, to his credit, eventually wrote Amara a handwritten apology, which he read quietly and forgave, choosing empathy over anger. The mall became a symbol of transformation, a reminder that sometimes all it takes is one moment, one injustice, to spark a ripple that can change an entire system. And it all began with a simple act of prejudice and a sister who refused to stay silent.